480 BC, the sound of weapons and the screams of the dying echo among the rocks of the narrow pass of Thermopylae. Leonidas and his 300 Spartans, along with thousands of other Greeks, challenged the advance of the colossal Persian army. Among them is Melas, a veteran who has dedicated his life to combat. His story is one of war, loyalty, and sacrifice, and his entire life has been a continuous preparation for this moment. But let's start from the beginning. How did he get to this crucial battle? Melas was born in the city of Sparta. After birth, a commission of elders inspected his body. Had he shown any weakness or signs of illness, he would have been abandoned on Mount Taygetus, as tradition dictated. There he would have died of hunger, or fortunately, had been adopted. However, Melas was considered strong and worthy, and would live to defend his city. His family raised him during his early years, instilling in him values of strength and discipline. There was no sweetness in his upbringing, as their son had to be strong, for only the resilient survived. Like all Spartan children, he had to leave home at the age of 7. He was handed over to the Agage, the ruthless Spartan training system. There was no rest here, only preparation for war. Barefoot and wearing only a tunic, he learned to read and write, and also to fight, strengthen his body, and withstand cold, hunger, and pain without complaint. At the age of 12, his training intensified. The spear and shield became extensions of his body. He learned to move in the phalanx, the combat formation that made the Spartans a wall of flesh and metal. With each mock battle, with each wound received, he came one step closer to his destiny. Once a year, the rulers of Sparta declared war on the Helots, the Spartan slaves.
We're under attack!
The best students of the Agage were sent to the rural areas. They had to survive by remaining hidden during the day and emerging at night to kill the strongest or most rebellious Helots in order to keep that population under control. This test was called Kripatia and served to strengthen the character of young Spartans and reinforce the city's class structure. At the age of 20, he became a hoplite, a full-fledged soldier. He was accepted into a syssitia, the brotherhood of warriors with whom he would share bread and blood on the battlefield. His loyalty was unwavering. The army was his family, and his life belonged to Sparta. In the following years, he participated in various military campaigns, fighting in small skirmishes and battles against local tribes and other Greek city-states, improving his skills and learning that victory was not just about strength, but about discipline. Death never worried him, for the greatest glory of a Spartan was to die in combat. At the age of 30, he obtained full citizenship and took a wife. Like all Spartans, his marriage did not mean he could abandon the army. His duty remained war. And the Great War arrived when Xerxes I, the king of Persia, marched on Greece with the largest army ever seen. Sparta could not ignore the call to stop the invasion. King Leonidas gathered 300 of his best men, and Melas was one of them. They headed north to the Thermopylae Pass and joined a contingent of 7,000 other Greeks. When they arrived, they rebuilt an ancient ruined wall located at the narrowest part of the pass, and there they waited for the Persians. The enemy arrived like an endless tide and launched themselves against the defenders. The first clash was deafening. Melas, armed with his round shield and an iron spear, moved with the discipline typical of the Spartans, eliminating his enemies with each well-aimed blow. The Spartan strategy was to defend this narrow terrain where the enemy could not use all of their troops at once. The Persians attempted to surround them, but were stopped by the phalanx that formed a wall. For 3 days, the Spartans resisted attack after attack, inflicting heavy casualties on their enemies. Even the best Persian soldiers, the immortals, succumbed. However, Spartan blood also stained the land, and fewer remained to defend the pass. Then came the betrayal. A Greek shepherd showed Xerxes a hidden mountain path to flank his position. Upon learning this, Leonidas knew his fate was sealed. He ordered most of the allies to retreat. The Spartans, however, remained. Retreating to a hill, the Spartans fought to their last breath. Covered in wounds, his spear broken and his shield shattered, Melas continued to fight with his sword. Finally, he fell fighting alongside his king and the rest of his comrades, under a hail of Persian arrows. Melas's death, like that of Leonidas and the 300, became legendary. His life exemplified the Spartan warrior spirit, disciplined, austere, and, above all, faithful to his duty to Sparta until his last breath.